A lot of the speculation about Kate Middleton, about the Princess of Wales, has been led by reporters in Europe, and particularly in Spain, and particularly by one individual, Concha Calleja. And she wrote a report last night, or she gave an interview last night in Spanish. She was talking about Kate and about her appearance at the Trooping of the Colour. She referenced the symbolism of Kate's clothes to the design of Natasha Archer. She pointed out that Kate was wearing quite heavy makeup. It was very effectively and skillfully applied, but nevertheless, she had dark circles under her eyes. She looked sad but courageous. She talks about the lip reading in the carriage. She talks about the king saying, "Why am I crying? Why am I being so emotional?" Well, he's being emotional because he's in the middle of cancer treatment. And cancer treatment, I can promise, makes you emotional and fragile. And both the king and his daughter-in-law look fragile. The relationship between the king and Kate is clear. The relationship between Kate and her husband, Concha Calleja, says is certainly not clear, and she says is not good. She says that there's only one photograph where the Princess of Wales is smiling at her husband. In the rest of the photographs taken on the way to the parade ground, on the way back, she is looking very, very distant, very somber, and very distracted in a way. She's only happy when she's with her children, when she's sitting with her children. And she also, Concha Calleja also talks about Meghan and about Meghan's jam products. I don't think that's some sort of euphemism or some sort of Frankie Howard reference, but she says that Britain is always going to be negative about, or the British press is always going to be negative about Meghan, and that may well be true. I don't think there's anything negative about selling jam. It's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. It's been done for years in fairs and church fetes. It's a way of raising money. Why not sell a jar of jam? I've made jam myself. It's not turned out terribly well. And she says that the meeting that Prince William had with MI6 was almost certainly about the security surrounding his wife, and that meeting is very vague, is very unclear, but it follows a gathering and an emergency meeting about 3 weeks ago, in which it was decided that the princess would have to appear. She was forced to appear to save the monarchy. Calleja she's the person who came out with some of the more far-fetched ideas about the princess's disappearance. So in some ways, she is not necessarily a trustworthy source. But she did anticipate Catherine's appearance at the Trooping of the Colour, and so I suppose if she gets that right, she's you shouldn't necessarily dismiss somebody because they were wrong on one occasion. That doesn't automatically discredit everything they say. And even if somebody is gossiping, it doesn't necessarily mean that what they say is untrue. I think one should take her comments at a distance. One should keep her at a distance. But nevertheless, she is the person who informs the Spanish press. The Spanish press reports dutifully, and this then seeps through into other areas of Europe, the Greek press, and so on. So what she says is significant. It has an impact, and it would be very silly to ignore it. But her focus is not on the nonsense which came out yesterday about holograms. Her focus is on the relationship, the fractured relationship between the Prince of Wales and the Princess of Wales, and whether that can be healed. I hope it can. And I think I think she's also very mindful of the problems with Harry and Meghan. Again, you know, if Prince William is not happy, and he's not, then that unhappiness goes all over the place. He's busy throwing his weight around, and it's sad. It's sad, but perhaps not entirely unexpected, given the depth of misery that he must be experiencing.